Update. My mom took my cheating ex-girlfriend's side over mine, and I can never forgive her. Original post. I was raised by a single mom. My dad died 2 years after I was born. I focused on my career for the most part of my life, and my mom supported me doing that. But when I was 20, I met my ex-girlfriend and we got together. We were colleagues first, but she told me she'd work in a different sector soon, and in her new workplace she met a new guy who she fell in love with while being in a relationship with me. I only found out because she admitted to sleeping with him to me after she went out for girls' night with her friends. I immediately broke up with her and threw her out. A few hours of me trying to process what happened, my mom called me and yelled at me that she hasn't raised me like this. I was confused and asked what she meant, and she said that my ex-girlfriend accused me of cheating on her and that she found proof of that on my phone. I couldn't believe what I just heard. I tried to talk to my mother, telling her that the exact opposite is true and that she has cheated on me, but she didn't believe me. Part of the reason is probably because she and my mom truly liked each other. I never had a problem with that. Up to that point, I liked how they got along with each other. My mother called me a liar, and she said she'd disinherit me from her will, as she's not having a cheater as a son. She said she never want to see me again. Then later my grandparents called me to tell me how disappointed they are of me, and that I deserve every bad thing that is to come. You know what the worst thing was? I found out that my cheating ex-girlfriend continued to meet with my mom after everything she did. All of this was so painful for me. The only person that sided with me was my best friend, who was furious with her. I talked to him and he hugged me and I cried in his arms. I know many people would think that's unusual for two guys, but his support really helped me getting through this. 1 year later, when I already was over it, my doorbell rang, and when I opened I saw my mom teary-eyed, and I began to feel my emotions are coming up, and I slammed the door and started crying, asking her what the heck she wants here. She said she wanted to talk to me and that she was so sorry. After she begged for 15 minutes straight, I gave in and opened the door. She said my ex admitted that she cheated when she was drunk. She apologized profusely and said that she knows that she failed as a mother for not believing her own child. I told her that I accept her apology, but I don't want to see her now and that I probably can never forgive her, even though she begged me to forgive her. Over the last few months, she started calling me daily just to hear my voice, as she said. She said she missed me, then apologized again and asked if I could just come over. Her voice always sounded kinda painful, and she always says how much she loves me, and that even she could understand that I hate her, and that she cannot live with this thought in her head. I don't even hate her, I still love her. She is still my mom, but the trust is broken. I can never trust her again, because what if I got into a relationship again? Who says that she wouldn't just believe their word over mine again? I appreciate her efforts, but I just cannot forgive her or even see her now. And I hope she understands that I need time. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Make her tell your grandparents the truth. The fact that she ruined your reputation and your family is disgusting. I know what having a mother like that is like, and believe me, no contact is better than the potential risk of stress and chaos that they can bring to your life again. And they always will. That's the first thing that I would ensure, and secondly, that she can't ever meet or ask about relationships, seeing as how she'd betray me. And thirdly, I'd tell her that I will reach out when I want to, and to stop harassing. Just to piggyback on that, ask your mother to publicly apologize. Put a Facebook post and stand in the town square with a sandwich board. Then never talk to her again. I cannot imagine how incredibly awful this must have been for you. Your mother made this all about her and not about you. She selfishly dumped you and then selfishly calls you repeatedly because it's what she needs. There is nothing my daughter could do to make her turn my back on her. I would either be no contact or very low contact and have her tell the truth to everyone. Make her get heartfelt apologies from the ex, grandparents, and any former friends. You tell her how she can gain your trust back, if ever. Also, tell her what your boundaries are if you keep her in your life. This, especially with the grandparents. Not that it really will matter due to the past, but just to clear his name. Freaking disgusting they chose his ex over him. Your mother is the worst. She even told your grandparents your ex's side of the story and continued to keep seeing her. It took her a year and a drunken confession from your ex for her to see you again. Has she even told your grandparents about it yet? Or is she still too prideful for not wanting to make herself look any worse than before? It does sound like her guilt is viciously eating her up inside, so at least there is some karma. Now for the update. After reading too many comments yesterday, I decided to meet with my mom today to clarify everything. I texted her to come over and she didn't hesitate. She literally appeared at my door within 15 minutes. Many of you pointed out good points I should ask her. Even though she called several times, we rarely really talked. So when she came over, I sat her down in the living room. There I asked about my grandparents, her will, and if she is still in contact with my ex. She explained that she had told my grandparents, and she expected them to call me, but it seems like they were too stubborn. She also said I'm in her will again. She then started talking crap about my ex. She said that when she found out, she punched her so hard that my ex might have lost a few teeth. I very much doubt the accuracy of this story, but I wanted to share it anyway, because for me it was a funny thing to think about. She said she told her to get lost, and threw her out of the house. She then again started apologizing profusely, and telling me that she knows how bad she messed up, and that I probably can never trust her, but she wants to do everything in her power to make this right. She explained that the man before my father had cheated on her, so infidelity was a sensitive topic for her. And then she said that she regrets not believing me, nor even remotely hearing my side of the story. I sat there quiet while she explained all this. I then asked her, how would I know that I could trust her now? What would happen if I got into a similar situation? And if she would just throw me away again? She said I have her word, and I replied that her word is basically meaningless as I don't trust her in the first place. She didn't reply to that answer properly, and again begged me to forgive. I told her that I cannot forgive her for now, and maybe I will never be able to forgive her, but I also see her efforts. And if she wants me in her life again, then she has to show me that I can count on her. She started tearing up. I could tell she tried to hold in her tears the entire time. But then she broke down crying, and with a whimpering voice she asked if she at least could give me a hug. I accepted that, and she said she's gonna make this right no matter what it takes, and then she left. Now while I am kinda touched at how she shows how much she regrets doing what she did, I am really concerned about my own reaction. When she broke down and I saw my own mother there on the floor crying, I didn't feel anything. I wasn't sad, I wasn't angry, I wasn't happy, and I certainly didn't show any sort of empathy for her. I just couldn't. During the year of having no contact with her, I refused to go to therapy. Maybe it's not too late to do that now. In the end, I want to thank all of you for your nice comments and support. I tried to read every single one of your comments, and the post kinda exploded way more than I expected. Have a nice day. It's normal to not feel anything after her apologies. You've been betrayed by her. She picked someone else's side over yours, and never even tried to hear your side of the story. I'm sure that if your ex hadn't been drunk and didn't spill the truth, she would still have been on her side. I think, and it's just my opinion, that her betrayal shocked you so much and you were so used by now to live without her, that something broke inside of you, and that's why you felt nothing. But I think that you should probably give a try to therapy because you might have bottled a lot of things and you need to talk about it, evacuate it to maybe start to feel better. You don't have to forgive your mother even though she begs and cries. And with what she did to you and how she picked your ex over you, her own child, I don't think that you could ever trust her. She broke it and she have to live with the consequence of her own choices. Don't feel bad, OP, and I hope everything will goes well for you in the future. My ex-wife, together for nearly 10 years and married for 3, left me for a woman she had an emotional affair with for 9 months. And for a long time I felt nothing. Wasn't hungry, wasn't tired, wasn't angry. I would get sad on occasion, but mostly I felt empty and void of feelings. It's normal what you're feeling, and I believe you may be suffering from depression from your trauma. Therapy can help a lot for that, or just talking about it more to whomever. I can't help but think you're already in the initial phases of healing, because you're aware of your feelings and can recognize you don't feel like you would normally. However, you decide to continue your mental health journey. I wish you the best. If there's anything I've learned in the past couple of years, is that life is short. I completely understand that she messed up and that she doesn't deserve forgiveness. But at the same time, she is your mother. If something happened to her, I can 100% guarantee you'll hate yourself for never making amends. I know she doesn't deserve forgiveness, but it wouldn't kill to simply begin a relationship with her again. Talk from time to time, etc. Over time it could grow back. Heck, maybe even better than before. As for therapy, it's never too late for therapy. My 58-year-old dad has some skeletons in his closet from when he was a child, and he could very well go to therapy now and get rid of some of those. You're right. Life is too short to worry about the toxicity of traitors. OP should most likely cut her off for good. Last story. I just destroyed a marriage. Today, I just destroyed a marriage out of spite. I met Mike while I was on a work trip in his city. I work for a company that does events and marketing in different cities in Europe, and it's part of my job to travel to these cities and be present at events. I met Mike in April. He and I matched on Tinder, had a nice little chat, and agreed to meet up for dinner that same evening. We immediately hit it off. I was in his city for a week, and we met up every night that week. We'd meet up once we're both free in the evenings. We hooked up after our second date, and there was really good chemistry. Since I live in a neighboring country just 5 hours away from his, we kept in touch. Our communication through text was seamless. It's like we never ran out of things to talk about. Every now and then we do video calls. He keeps me constantly updated with his life and would send me photos and videos of what he's doing at work, during his football games, when going out with friends, etc. I even asked my manager if she can assign all events in his city to me, and she approved. Didn't question me as long as I did my job well. So for 6 months, we were able to maintain a long-distance relationship, with me traveling to his city for work once or twice a month. We'd go on dates, and I usually just let him sleep over at my hotel, since his apartment is 30 minutes away from the city center. He visited me a few times in my city on weekends since it was accessible by train. Now let me preface this next part by saying that Mike is not big into social media. We followed each other on Instagram, but there are no posts on his feed. I don't use Facebook a lot, so I don't see the point of adding him there. Mike is a pretty private person. I know a lot about his hobbies, what he does for fun, and some background on his family, but I didn't know a lot about his past relationships. I opened up to him about mine, but I never obligated him to tell me his. One time, I got curious and did a little snooping on Facebook. When I searched for his name, I saw a woman with the same last name tagging him in a life event saying they got engaged. I did more snooping this time on Instagram, and that's when I found out. Mike is married. I found the woman's Instagram account, and it was filled with photos of them. He was never tagged in any of the photos, so it didn't show on his profile. The last photo she posted of them was 2 months before I met Mike on Tinder. I confronted him. He denied it at first, until I showed him screenshots of what I discovered, and that's when he told me everything. That he is married but having problems for months now. That he still lives in their apartment, but he sleeps on the couch or at his parents' place. That he's been trying to fix things with her for a few weeks now, while in a relationship with me. I got angry. I told him that he should have ended it with me the minute he decided he was gonna fix their marriage. I called him a coward and a liar. He apologized. I told him that I will tell his wife everything. He begged me not to. He begged me for an hour on the phone, and I just listened to him making pathetic excuses. He said that if I tell his wife, she would get hurt, and then it would not be possible to fix their marriage anymore. I told him that I didn't care and that he doesn't deserve my sympathy. So, I told her via Instagram. I sent her screenshots of him denying that he's married. I sent her screenshots of sweet messages, heart emojis, and dirty photos that he sent me. I sent her screenshots of him saying he loves me and how much he misses me. She saw all the messages, left me on read, and then deactivated her account. He then called me saying that she is crying and angry, and threatening to leave him. I told him he deserved it. I didn't mean to hurt her really, but it was the only way for me to hurt him. I wanted him to be in so much pain, and I felt bad that she had to be hurt in the process. Because I could call him every ugly name in the book, but nothing would hurt him as much as her leaving him. I just destroyed their marriage, and I don't regret it. Edit to add, he didn't want to break it off with me. He said that he wanted to keep in touch. What for, I don't know. I didn't ask. But I told him I was having none of it and that it was pointless. Shaking my head. Edit, since I saw comments saying I should have looked him up more. Here's why I didn't doubt him or bother digging for more information about him. He was pretty consistent. We text every day and call or video call a few times a week. He always sends me updates on what he's up to during the day. He'd send gifts, flowers, chocolates, the usual. Every once in a while. Whenever I'm in his city for work, he'd always stay the night with me, and each of my trips would normally last for 4 to 5 days. Which I think is pretty hard to pull off if you're married, because how will you explain to your wife not going home for a few nights in a row? We also don't just stay in my hotel room, we go out on dates. I don't think married people are okay with being seen out on a date in his city with someone else. So there. They don't have any children. Mike said he didn't want kids, I also don't want kids. I think this is important to talk about even in the early stages of dating in case things get serious. We're all in our early 30s in case y'all are wondering. To those saying that the only reason I was angry was because he was trying to fix things with her. Here are my thoughts. When I first found out, I saw a few possibilities. Either he was cheating on his wife from the start, or they did have a problematic marriage and were broken up, but not divorced yet. The wife is not from Europe, so if they get a divorce, she wouldn't be able to keep her residency. So if it honestly was the latter, then yes, maybe things could still work out between us. Because people going through a divorce are allowed to date as long as the other person knows. He said that they did broke things off, but are still living together, which is why he managed to sleep over for consecutive nights whenever I was visiting. And that it was a few weeks ago when he decided he wanted to fix things with her. Of course, I was mad that he strung me along longer instead of just giving me an out. Now for the top comments. You didn't destroy his marriage. Mike did it himself. When I read they met on Tinder, nothing is on her anymore. He destroyed his marriage. Please do not entertain him at all if he comes crawling to you after his wife leaves. If she leaves. I already blocked him and unmatched on Tinder. Just be prepared that their marriage is not destroyed. They'll probably stay together regardless. You just keep to yourself and live your life. That's what happened when I exposed my ex and the married father she was having an affair with to his wife. No regrets about telling her, and I was really disappointed in my ex. As far as I know, the dirtbag and the wife are still together, but at least she knows. Whatever the aftermath, it's none of my business as I know neither of them. I think it's very normal actually for people to not break up, mostly in a marriage and mostly with kids. For the simple reason that it's way more convenient and logical to stay with your partner, mostly if you have kids, and just open the relationship and make it an open marriage. Even Adam Levine's wife was okay with the cheating, but she was annoyed that it went public. I'd say many relationships don't have divorces. If it was me, I'd probably do the same. If I didn't have enough money, I'd stay with my husband. I wouldn't sleep with him, and I'd just go and sleep around, or even find me another serious relationship with a man. If I had enough money to pay for a whole house all by myself, maintain my kids and everything, then I'd probably get divorced.